I think for me, the no's came pretty early on. In the beginning, I don't think I expected that everyone would just, come flooding in, all the clients would come flooding in. But I did think that it would be easier than it actually was. I really did struggle to understand how to make it happen. And there was even a period of time where I had 54 no's in a row. So I did 54 calls. Everyone said no. And around that time, I remember having a conversation with one of my coaches and just asking her what I was doing wrong. And I was so down in the dumps, questioning if this was even possible for me. And I don't think I wanted to stop, or I ever considered stopping, but I just couldn't see the way out. Think about the water heating up. You don't quite see the bubbles immediately, but you know that they're coming. And that's essentially where you're at right now. You have to continue to put yourself out there and trust that this is what you're meant for, and that it's possible for you, and that these people are coming your way. You're not going to have the money just sitting under the mattress. Most likely, you're going to have to find some sort of funding for your business. So that might be a friend or family member, a business loan, a credit card, dipping into your savings. And it's probably not going to feel comfortable because you're doing something new. You're stretching yourself. You're moving outside of the box. And so people who get on the phone and think like this is going to be completely hunky-dory and feel amazing, they're just kidding themselves. And so I like to say, I just give them a dose of real truth with love, which it is. It's intended with love, but it's also intended to be a wake-up call around this vision that they have and this perfect moment that supposedly is going to come when they're going to start their business, or when they're going to have more money, or when the time is going to be perfect. Sales is something you do for someone, not to them. And when you hold that vision for every single call, and you believe that part of your purpose is to help people move past those blocks. And if they're not the right fit, fine, that happens as well. But if they are, then take a stand for them going to that next level and help them up level there on the phone, because they can't do it themselves. Otherwise, they already would have. I'm taking things a lot less personally, and I'm taking the emotion out of the business in many ways in which I couldn't in the beginning, because I was so wrapped up in it. It was just like the business was me, and now I see it in a different sort of way. It's not just me. We have a whole team. It's a movement that we're creating. And to be able to separate those two things, I think it takes time, but I also think it's really essential. Not all of us have an MBA, and that's great, but that also means that there's a huge learning curve. And so I started and I hit 7 figures in my first 18 months, and kind of like thinking about the accounting and all of the financials, like it was in the forefront of my mind, but in many ways it wasn't. And so we had to develop a strong foundation and get really smart financially very quickly. Lean on your connections. So like I said, we had these coaches. I'm sure everyone has someone in their corner. If you don't, get yourself into a group program or something, build a network, because really we leaned on the people in our network for everything, for that accounting support, for personal support, for guidance. And we couldn't have done it without all of these amazing mentors. Even, people like Brendan Burchard, he emailed us directly because we worked with him. And, when you invest, we've invested over $500,000 in personal development and coaching in the past 5 years. And when you invest at that level, your network truly is your net worth. And I think people underestimate the value of that. But you need people in your corner. Like, you cannot do this alone. So I always say rejection is protection. And I think that goes both ways. And so for us, there are boundaries that I put in place with my clients that are, just simple around when they can contact me, how much they can contact me. I speak my truth. If someone is going over that amount of time, I'm happy for them to pay more, but we need to figure out what feels good to both of us. But more than that, it's really around what we feel called to do. And I know I just said take emotion out of it, but I also trust my gut. And if something is off, then I'm not just going to ignore it. I'm not just going to move forward, because I also have a very high moral standard for myself. And so even if a speaker wants to speak at our event, or there's an amazing opportunity, if it's not in alignment with my values, then I'm going to say no, because I know that ultimately that's the greatest, that's upholding the greatest vision for our company. And if I don't have my values, then what do I have?
Yep.